UFO secrecy is in grave danger because Congress is pressuring elements within the United States government to tell them what they know about the UFO presence on our planet. So far, 3 members of Congress have come forward talking about UFO briefings. And quite frankly, any of these members of the Congress being briefed on UFOs is a huge deal because they're being privy to information far more compelling than what me and you got to see. To put this in perspective, 3 weeks ago, board member for Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies, Rich Hoffman, said the following in regards to UFO gun camera footage. Lou Elizondo told me straight out that these clips are not the whole video, that in fact there was incredible evidence showing performance beyond our capabilities in the remaining portions that are indeed classified. The general public is getting just a taste, but not the full meal. The senators got the full meal in the recent briefings. Here's what Senator Jeanne Shaheen has stated about getting briefed on UFOs. We have been briefed, said Shaheen. It was a classified briefing, so I'm not allowed to talk about it. But if you were to ask me personally, do I believe there are UFOs? I think that there are events that have happened that have not been explained adequately. Here is Senator Mark Warren chiming in on his briefing.
One of the key takeaways I'd have is that the military and others are taking this issue seriously, which I think in previous generations may not have been the case.
Here is Congressman Mark Walker publicly asking for more data on the UFO presence.
We spoke to a government employee who has worked on this issue who said that the U.S. government has wreckage from one of these aircraft. Do you know anything about that?
We don't know, but that's one of the 4 questions that we are asking. Is there evidence being held somewhere? Not to get too spooky once again, but if there is evidence, right. I believe it's important for people, specifically in my position as the ranking member of Terrorism and Counterintelligence, we need to know what this is.
Of course. And those are all legitimate questions.
I believe
I'm
so.
grateful that you're not being bullied or mocked into not asking them.
Here is a great Twitter exchange regarding those within government who will inevitably have an amazing legacy just by pushing for UFO transparency right before the shift. A thank you is in order for Representative Mark Walker for looking into the UAP AAV issue and not being afraid to ask hard questions. Continue the journey and let's hope for more answers to shake loose. Great effort. History will look back at the brave men and women in government who didn't shy away from this massive issue. Great point. If I was in Congress, I would really create some historic speeches, interviews, sound bites, and big TV moments right now. Because documentaries in the future will use those clips of politicians speaking out boldly on the UFO issue. Agreed. This is extreme legacy we are dealing with. The first to speak up loudest on this will have his or her name immortalized forever. On July 16, 2019, Congressman Mark Walker sent a letter to the United States Secretary of the Navy, Richard Spencer. And in that letter, he's basically asking for further information on this UFO presence on our planet. I will go so far as to say that this letter to Secretary of the U.S. Navy, Richard Spencer, is the most important development within the modern-day UFO disclosure movement since October 11th, 2017, when To the Stars Academy came onto this stage and announced their very beginnings. And the reason I feel this way is because this letter personifies the United States Congress asking the question, forcing the answer regarding what the hell is going on with all these UFOs. If you watch the interview with Congressman Mark Walker and Tucker Carlson, one thing Mark Walker said is, we have no evidence that the UAP encounters off the eastern seaboard are from China or Russia. And Tucker Carlson underscores that these objects off the eastern seaboard are maneuvering in ways that we don't understand, in ways that nothing within the United States military inventory can accomplish. So where does that leave us? Now I'm going to read the entire letter to you and occasionally stop to give you my own commentary. Secretary Spencer, in recent days, members of Congress and the public have seen reports regarding unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAP, engaging with or encountering our naval aviators. The reports mention the existence of these encounters both domestically and abroad during various missions and trainings. We have also seen statements made by the Department of Defense regarding steps taken by the Navy to draft new guidelines for aviators to report these occurrences. Additionally, there have been reports of significant investments in advanced aerospace technologies like the recorded UAP encounters by China. Based on pilot accounts, encounters with these UAPs often involved complex flight patterns and advanced maneuvering, which demand extreme advances in quantum mechanics, nuclear science, electromagnetics, and thermodynamics. If the accounts are true, the unidentified crafts could pose a serious security risk to our military personnel and defense apparatus. They could also represent a tremendous opportunity for advancements in science and technology that can contribute to the public good. Got a story for you. In 1954, athlete Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. He got it in 3:59.4. But many years prior to that, many athletes all over the world were trying to get the mile in under 4 minutes and failed persistently. But what's noteworthy is after Roger Bannister's accomplishment, in the years following, other runners started to break the 4-minute mile. So why is it that for so long no one could break the 4-minute mile, then Roger Bannister breaks the 4-minute mile, subsequently many athletes start breaking the 4-minute mile? Perception. The other athletes started to recognize in a concrete way, not a theoretical way, but a concrete way, that it can be done. And this developed confidence in them, which translated into other human beings breaking the 4-minute mile. So what is the parallel here? The parallel is, once the scientific community knows in a concrete way that there are technological objects coming into the airspace of our world that may well indeed be coming from other star systems, they're going to start asking themselves, how are they doing it? What kind of exotic technology are they harnessing? This could start a renaissance for the scientific community. This could open doorways. Perception is everything. Now, there's a going theory on how these UFOs operate. It's called space-time metric engineering. The idea is these UFOs are harnessing an incalculably powerful energy source to create a space-time bubble around them that can bend space and time, allowing them to go from point A to point B, even if it's many light years traversed, relatively quickly. And obviously, they're not harnessing fossil fuel because that would never be able to create enough energy to bend space-time. Now, the whole scientific community in unison had the realization that this is going on within our universe. Imagine the renaissance, the scientific renaissance this would create. Imagine the breakthroughs this would inspire amongst the scientific community. This is why the UFO cover-up is dangerous. It's dangerous because it stunts humanity. It postpones the progress that would be elicited just by knowing that it can be done. The detailed news of the encounters comes on the heels of an announcement by the Department of Defense in 2017 that noted the end of the Advanced Aerospace Threat and Identification Program, ATIP, which was tasked with investigating UAP encounters. As a member of the House Committee on Homeland Security and the ranking member of the Subcommittee on Intelligence and Counterterrorism, these reports are concerning from a national airspace and domestic security perspective. While I'm encouraged by the Navy's proactive decision to draft new guidelines for reporting, I am concerned these reports are not being fully investigated and understood. Since the decision to end the ATIP, has the department continued to both log reports, sightings, and fully investigate the origins of the accounts? Does the department continue to dedicate resources to tracking and investigating the claims? If so, to what measure? Has the department found physical evidence or otherwise that substantiates these claims? Now, here is what Congressman Mark Walker is getting at in his inquiry regarding ATIP.
But the AATIP, which is basically a program that the government monitors this, was to close down in 2017. So part of my question, Tucker, is it really closed down? Are we still spending resources, or is there more documentation that this program is still being able to file somewhere? That's something that we need to know, even if it's just for defense purposes alone.
Because Congressman Mark Walker and fellow members of the Congress are asking the question, one thing him and others are going to learn very quickly, which Luis Elizondo has stated himself, is that ATIP has never, ever closed down. Luis Elizondo, he's even stated that this reality, this truth is going to come to light. There's another thing that members of Congress are all going to learn very, very rapidly if they haven't already. And that is that ATIP as an organization, none of the personnel there actually think that these objects are from China or from Russia. Luis Elizondo has stated over and over and over again ad nauseum that he is convinced that these objects that have been studied under ATIP are not coming from any military inventory on the planet. So where does that leave us? One thing you have to understand is that this barrage of questions coming from the Congress is not going to diminish. It's not going to disappear. It's only going to intensify, and it's only going to accelerate. Likewise, the phenomenon itself isn't going to disappear. It's not going to diminish. In fact, it may well indeed intensify its presence. So what's going to occur? In my opinion, because Congress is going to continue asking the question and digging deeper, ATIP is not going to be the only UFO program within the United States government that is going to come to light. Other UFO programs inevitably are going to come out of the dark. There's nothing that can stop this process right now. If there's a back engineering program, going to come to light. If there's a program studying the anatomy of non-human biology, it's going to come to light. This whole thing's going to break open. And it's because the Congress are asking the question and are going to continue asking the question, which inevitably forces the answer. Lastly, does the department have any information regarding private companies or foreign nations who have made significant advancements in aerophysics? We believe the answers to these questions are vital to our national security and scientific research and of significant public interest. Thank you for your immediate attention to this matter. We look forward to working with you on this important matter to ensure our domestic security. Sincerely, Mark Walker, Member of Congress.
Or is it something else? We're not trying to spook people out, not to get too spooky once again. Or is it something else? We're not trying to spook people out, not to get too spooky once again.
Congressman Walker, allow me to level with you. Within the life of every parent, there comes a time where you have to have that conversation with your children. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that one. The birds and the bees. Very similarly, we are quickly entering a new stage of human civilization where governments around the world are going to have an equally awkward and perhaps cringeworthy conversation with their populace. And that's going to be, we are not alone. There are other intelligences in our cosmos, sentience, capable of technological feats. And that is a conversation you and the American government are soon going to be having and are going to have with the American people. I look forward to that. All I ask for is the truth, even the spooky truth. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can check out my merch shop where I sell t-shirts. Link is in the description below. Or you could even become a patron. Or you could just slap a like on this bad boy and I'll appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for watching and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.